In one of his adventures in his youth, Rusty Cage followed the warrior Chickasaw, a man both more experienced and older than Rusty, and who acted as his mentor. Now, he was a somewhat rugged but also athletic Indian. Even though he wore a white man's attire, he wore his Chickasaw culture in his mohawk and poncho. They had been acquainted for a long time, ever since Rusty settled his first supernatural case. Both were riding north, and the snow was already covering the ground at this time of year.
Where are we going?
Ebebe Lili, that's the man who guides the horse. He takes us where we are needed, so I have no clue. Look, Arthur, a great place to open. Already it was starting to get dark, and the cold and the journey had worn them both out. They would take lodgings in the first place they found, right next to the mountains. The local people did not seem welcoming at all, but they still managed to get a shabby room with 2 old beds. However, the room had a fireplace that kept the cold out and made the whole atmosphere a little less miserable. Rusty was getting ready for bed, and just as he was falling asleep, he was roused by a horrifying chant. Rusty looked around the room and noticed that Ashki was meditating in front of the fireplace. Can't sleep? I'm talking to the night, Arthur.
Ashki, why do you do that? You have family waiting for you in the tribe. You shouldn't be messing with this stuff and be on the same path as me.
In my tribe, there is a transition ritual. When I was young, I was chosen in the fight against the darkness. I must protect my tribe, the physical world. This family is the reason to leave the world better and come back alive.
Yeah, how about what the night is telling you?
Rusty stood up and went to the window. It was a bright, moonlit night. From his bedroom window, Rusty could see almost the entire main street. He peered intently at the place the Indian had singled out. There was a bird singing into the night. That's a tapera neighbor. This one came a long way off, from the Amazon forest. There is something really odd about this town. Early the next morning, the town was already buzzing with activity, but a thin, gaunt, gray-haired old woman wearing Indian patterned clothes, who was not from the village, stood out wandering through the town. She entered the pharmacy and demanded an offering.
The one you promised.
The apothecary laid a tobacco box on the counter and offered it to her.
Please, this is what I promised. Don't come back, please. I don't have much to give.
The old woman made her way out of the town, heading along a path which ended at a shabby house. She neared the door and knocked with the staff to attract the residents' attention. A girl with a child answered the door and desperately began to apologize.
The one you promised.
The old woman frowned even more and stretched out her staff, pointing at the child.
The boy.
However, a shout attracted the woman's attention. Matinta! Stand ready, Arthur. Matinta is the witch from the Brazilian legends, but what the heck was she doing in that region? Ashki surprised the witch with an attack with his bare hands. Now! Rusty, who was coming right behind, emptied his revolver into the old woman, but there was neither blood nor any screams of pain.
Ashki.
The Indian gazed slightly at the forthcoming horror scene. The witch stood up and slowly began her transformation. She turned her feet into claws, her arms into large nails. Her face looked like the combination of a living dead person and the tapera neighbor bird, and with her wings spread, the creature became enormous. Matinta's eerie chanting sent shivers down Rusty and Ashki's spines. The creature bellowed as it flew towards Rusty. It grabbed him and took off, ascending very quickly to a level higher than the treetops. The creature opened its mouth and prepared to swallow Rusty's head. With a distraught reaction, Rusty shot at it with his revolver and ended up hitting the monster's wing, bringing both of them tumbling uncontrollably. The two of them hit the ground violently, and Matinta dropped her staff during the crash. Now Ashki wouldn't miss this opportunity, so he rushed to pick up the staff. With its power, Ashki channeled all of his astral energy. He pointed the staff at the creature and began to drain Matinta's power. The creature cried out in grief and frustration that it was losing its power. and slowly began to regain its old woman form. Rusty stroked the back of the old woman's head with the butt of his gun, making her pass out, while Ashki broke the staff in half, ending Matinta's curse.
Goodbye, Jacket.
Wait a minute. Nature wants to speak. He put his hand on the ground, closed his eyes and inhaled, and he became one with the nature that surrounded him. Ashki started to feel the clouds, the sun, the cloudless sky, the animals, the vegetation. He could feel all the power of nature. Then he started feeling pain and sensed extinction, and suddenly came to the feeling of anger and revenge. After finishing his trance, he worriedly looked at Rusty. Nature is suffering. It is suffocating. It's on fire, and it wants revenge. A gateway has been opened. Nature is joining the darkness to cleanse the earth. They are wiping out humans.
You're not going back to your family anytime soon, Ashki.
This is our job, Arthur.